Sony releases a hefty new update for the PlayStation 5. Also, there's a new PS5 simulator for all the poor people out there. Plus, we got some good news about cross-gen Sony exclusives. All of that and more. Stay tuned. Man, what's up? I'm Rings, your one and only host with Ringleaders Gaming. You already know what we're here to do. We're here to talk games. So before we get into today's news, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you find today's content informative or entertaining. With that out of the way, let's get to the news. Our first article today is from Polygon. So there's a developer out there by the name of Alex Grade. And basically, he was struggling to actually afford the PlayStation 5.
Hide the money, y'all! There's poor people around!
Just like many others out there. So he created a PlayStation 5 emulator. Wait, did I say emulator? I mean simulator. Designed to give you the satisfaction of owning and unboxing a PlayStation 5. Now, if you're wondering whether we're gonna show you some gameplay, of course we are. Man, cue the gameplay. This game looks like it was designed on the Unreal Engine, and it comes complete with physics to destroy whatever you want in the game practically. You can start by opening boxes, and then you can go into smashing chairs.
And smashing TVs, and then smashing the PS5.
If you're curious, the game requires no install. Just a shady link. Link in the description below. Next up, we got some good news from PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan. Now, as you guys may remember, Sony had this big promise that there were going to be a lot of PlayStation 5 exclusives. And then they kind of, rolled back on that after they realized they had over 100 million users on the PS4, and they decided to change that sentiment to they're going to be supporting the PlayStation 4 for the next 2 to 3 years. So any of the PlayStation exclusives are more like PlayStation exclusives for the platform and not really for the PlayStation 5. But we have some good news from PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan that he released in an interview with The Telegraph. He basically stated that PlayStation exclusives for the PlayStation platform will be built from the ground up for the PlayStation 5 to utilize pretty much all of the hardware that they've designed specifically for the PlayStation 5. He stated further in a quote, "The first thing to say is that our PS5 experiences or versions of these games are built from the ground up to take advantage of the PS5 feature set. So I think offering a PS5 version of these games for the PS5 community and then a PS4 version of these games to the PS4 community, I don't see what's wrong with that." Now this kind of sounds almost like smart delivery. Did I even need quotes for that? This almost sounds like smart delivery, which is what Xbox is kind of doing, where they're going to deliver the best version of the game for the platform that you're choosing to play on. If you're deciding to play on Xbox One, they give you the Xbox One version of the game. If you're deciding to play on the Xbox Series X or the Xbox Series S, they give you that version of the game. That way you're playing the game the way it was meant to look on whatever platform that you choose to play on. So for those of you that were feeling gypped, thinking that Sony was just gonna give you the same version of the game that's on the PlayStation 4, just know that they pretty much are. It's just tweaked for the PS5. Me personally, I don't think the games being available on the PS5 is really a problem. I think the games being available in more places benefits the gamers, the consumers of this content. With Apple, they have their phones and their tablets and their laptops, and they're creating an ecosystem where you can get the same apps on whatever device you want. So I don't really see the problem with Sony doing that, and neither does Microsoft, which is why they are doing the same thing pretty much. But I think what CEO Jim Ryan is missing is that a lot of the people that buy PlayStations want to have a device that feels special. Therefore, they want stuff that is dedicated only to that device. They want the device to even exclude the previous generation of PlayStation 4 users, not just Xbox users. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people have. I could be wrong, but that's the way that it seems that I've been interpreting it, because I've had these conversations with people on Twitter, and it seems like that's what the problem is with some users. They want something special, and you can't have something special if everyone else has what you have. But the weird thing is anyone can technically buy a PlayStation 5, so it's anyway. And on to the next story. Sony releases hefty update for the PlayStation 5. Has your PlayStation 5 merely rocked itself to sleep at night? Only for you to wake up in the morning to find out that your console has bricked? Well, congratulations, this update that Sony's releasing is not for you. Yesterday, Sony released an update for the PlayStation 5, and this update isn't really for addressing any of the bugs that people have been stating they've been having. This is strictly a performance-based update only. When you go to Sony's own website and you try to take a look just to see what's included in this specific update, you're greeted with a little notification that says, this system software update improves system performance, and that's all. They don't go into depths and say what it improves or how it improves it or what little bug fixes they've made or any little tweaks or anything like that. There have been people who have said that their USB ports in the front haven't worked, but now they're working after this update. I'm not sure why. No one knows why, because Sony's not saying anything. So you can install this update, but you know, if you're one of the people that are still having problems, I would just still be a little bit cautious, just a tiny bit. And if you're curious on what bugs are being reported, I got a video for that right here. The crazy thing is that this update weighs in at a whopping 866 megabytes. That's almost a gig. Now, maybe to you that doesn't sound bad, but is this a telltale sign of how much your storage space will shrink over time? I guess we won't really know until a few years down the line though. Hopefully you haven't filled up that itty bitty drive space with all your games yet, because you can't expand your storage right now. And our last story today, more Sony news. This one is a kicker, because this one was from the same interview with The Telegraph with our best friend, Jim Ryan. He's not really my best friend. And the quote that I'm gonna be bringing up today was about this storage issue that I just mentioned above. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard about Sony and their super fast, mega super fast SSD, it only clocks in at around 825 gigabytes. I always get those confused. 20% of that drive space is now set aside for the operating system and any other little, you know, software tweaks that Sony has put in there. So now your drive space is left at around 664 gigabytes, right? Games are taking up a ton of space. Not only that, these updates, if they continue to be hefty like the one in the previous story, goodness gracious, that drive space is gonna shrink fast. With all of that being said, in the same interview with The Telegraph, PlayStation CEO smacked down any claims about people complaining about PS5 Drive Space, saying, quote, "We're not hearing that." He goes on further to say, "We will watch what happens as people purchase their systems and unbox their PlayStation 5s, which is fine and dandy, but come on, man. We know that these games are going to be taking up huge amounts of space." Now, both companies, Sony and Microsoft, supposedly are doing their own little tweaks to kind of allow users to adjust this space situation, with Microsoft announcing that they're going to be giving developers the ability to pull out sections of the game that the user may not want. Maybe the user does not care about campaign and they only want multiplayer. They can install the multiplayer version of that game. Supposedly Sony might be doing the exact same thing to try to alleviate the storage situation, especially since storage is expensive. And as stated earlier, you can't really expand the PlayStation 5 storage at the moment. Either way, the way that he shook off that question by saying, "We're not hearing that," is kind of telling. It's almost reminiscent to me of like a move that Apple would pull. Not in the sense of removing something that people could actually find useful, but the fact that he completely and blatantly pushed it off with "we're not hearing that," knowing damn well people are going to be concerned about that drive space. How do you feel about Jim Ryan's comments on storage space? Also, if you bought a PS5, does it matter to you whether those titles are optimized from the ground up for your PS5? Do you even care? I mean, does it even matter if those titles are exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem or the PS5 solely? Oh, and the PS5 simulator. If you guys are gonna give it a shot, man, let us know what you do. Post some send me some clips on Twitter. Do something goofy and send me clips. If you want to find me on Twitter, my Twitter is #I'mRINGZZZ. Also, before you head out, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, little bell icon, hit me with a like, a comment. It would really mean the world to me. Well, anyway, that's it for today's news. Peace. Rings out.